Good evening, everyone. This is Vera Sadler with VLS Coaching, and I am here with my special guest, Nesta Lumpkin, on Tuesday Talk Live. And once again, I am so excited about having this young woman here with me to talk about a topic. Guess what? That most of us probably wish. Now, I'm an older woman, my babies are grown, and my grandbabies are already past this age, but Nesta's here and she's going to share with us a topic that most of us wish she was sharing with us when our babies were smaller. And I just changed the screen, Nesta, because it did not show the name, your title, and I want people to know who you are, what you offer. And so again, we're going to spend some time talking about your great book. You have a book that's a bestseller on Amazon. Hey, congratulations, my friend. I met
Thank
Nesta
you.
last year. We were both doing a business coaching opportunity and just launching, not just launching business, but going forward and expanding, learning how to expand our business as coaches in our rightful perspective niches of business. But Nesta, I wanted you to come on tonight so that you can share with our guests and our audience, wherever they're listening from around the world, whatever time zone. But to me, this was such a cool topic because you don't hear many people talking about baby sleep. So before we get deep into the conversation, just tell our guests a little bit about yourself, where you hail from, and then we're going to jump right into the topic about your book.
All right. Well, my name is Nesta Lumpkin, and I am the lead coach and founder of the Baby Sleep Accelerator program. And I am a best-selling author of my new book, and it's called The Average Baby Sleep Book. And I am hailing from Atlanta, and it's just good to be here to talk about this topic. Not a lot of people talk about it or think about it, especially in certain groups. It's just expected that you have a baby and you should just automatically know as a mom how to take care of them. So it's more that can go into it, and it can make baby sleep coaching can make your life way better and more fulfilling as a first time mom or as a new mom, whether you have like one or two children or you have four.
You know, when I saw, and you're right, it can change your life. And I just told you offline that I really wished, and when I saw best-selling author, I said, "Oh my gosh!" I think I inboxed you and said, "Where were you when my children were small?" And I don't know if I said that to you when we met in Atlanta, but I know when I saw your book and I know what you're doing, I said, "Man, if Nesta was around when I was raising my babies." When I had those babies crying in their crib at night, we were told, just let them cry for hours. Let them cry. We were told, just let them cry, cry, cry. And as a mother, that's heart wrenching. That it tears at you. And most of us, we can't go through that. We just let them get up. I remember my baby, and she's probably going to be watching this. And I probably shouldn't tell this, but Nesta for 5 years straight. It wasn't just when she was an infant. When she figured out how to get, we converted that crib to an infant bed, toddler bed. For 5 years straight, she got up and she got in my bed. 5 years straight.
Yeah.
So it's like, and if we don't learn probably some of the techniques you're going to talk about now, we probably have difficulty. But can you imagine if many of us older mothers, we probably would have had a lot more sleep. So your book is called, and I'm going to pop the name of the book up here, and I know you can get it on Amazon because I've seen it, and I'm gonna, if I find some young mothers that really need it, I'm gonna bless them with a copy. I love blessing people with great reading. But here's a copy of the name of her book, Not Your Average Baby Sleep Book. And if you have a copy there, pop it up on the screen so people really can see it, because we want them to know exactly what we're talking about. Not Your Average Baby Sleep Book. She's a best-selling author, guys. And so, Nesta, just jump right on here in here and tell us some of the key points that are brought out in this book that really why it's becoming a best-selling, and we know why it's not talked about because people just think, like you said, we're just supposed to automatically know this, but it's not automatic.
Yeah. So when I was a first time mom, I barely knew anything about taking care of a newborn. All my life, I was the youngest in the room, so to speak. When it came to childcare, I had a job taking care of like 6 year olds, my first job at a summer camp, but taking care of a newborn is a whole different ball game. So I had to learn, and me and my husband, we were in the trenches, and I had to learn the hard way. And when it was time for me to go back to work, when my maternity leave was ending, I figured we have to figure something out. I was nervous, so me and my husband, we came together, and our solution was we have to teach our baby how to sleep all through the night. And so when we did that, it was successful. And I taught it to my second and third child. And so we just have the system in our family, in our household, where we take sleep coaching very seriously. And so other people started seeing, our friends would come over, people would ask, how do you do that? You know, people, my friends would call me like, can you teach me how to get my baby to sleep through the night? And that's how it all started. And
Wow.
so, yeah, you mentioned that your daughter would, for 5 years, get up every night. That's just the tip of the iceberg of what can happen when you don't implement, coaching your baby, or you don't know how to do it, you don't know what to do, never heard of it. People just wing it and say, oh, I'm just gonna write it out and see, and hopefully my baby will be a better
Mhm.
sleeper or a good sleeper. And it doesn't mean it's gonna happen, right? For 5 years, you had to deal with that. And that's just lost time. 5 years of lost time that you didn't have to go through if you, knew there were methods and techniques that you could do to help your family.
Wow. So, and this is the first time I've heard someone really say, I coach my baby on how to sleep. Are there a few techniques? Because we don't want to give away everything that's in the book. We want people to go buy the book and learn them. And if you have classes, contact you for some of these techniques. But can you share one, two, a couple of the techniques or some of the good methods that implement? I love the way you said you both, first of all, one of the things that you just said that was so crucial, your husband and you came into agreement with it, because I know when my baby was young, it was just like, oh, you have one spouse saying stop the baby from crying, the other spouse saying let them cry, they'll get over it. And I know that's sometimes a big issue too, with trying to train the child to sleep, because you have one that it's pulling at the heartstrings, and the other, they're a little tougher, let them cry it out. How do you feel about that, crying it out, before we get into
Okay.
some of your techniques?
so so when I coach clients, when I coach parents, I coach parents from all over the world and all across the US. And one common thing is the moms usually handle a majority of the baby sleeping situation at night. Usually the dads are working or they've gone back to work. And so the mom feels like she has the responsibility alone to take care of the baby. So what can happen is a buildup of exhaustion, frustration, resentment, resentment towards your partner or your spouse, resentment towards your child, because you are so tired you can't think straight. So, big picture, that's where I come in as a coach. And when I speak to audiences, this is what I try to get people to understand. Big picture, you have to see your life as a parent from a 10,000 view, even from the beginning. And
Wow.
if you start out being frustrated and resentment is building and growing inside of you, it grows into bitterness. It grows into more exhaustion. And what that does, it manifests physically in like illnesses. And so you're just starting off on the wrong foot. You mentioned like making sure you're in agreement with your partner or your spouse or whoever is there helping you take care of your baby, or if you're by yourself, you definitely should just think about it like, okay, I'm gonna come up with a plan and I'm gonna stick to it. And you have to be determined. It's like going to the gym, right? You and trying to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
healthy. It's the same thing, like setting up healthy sleep habits for your baby.
That's real good. That's real good. Um, and I think when we first start out, young mothers, as you're saying, when you first start out, you have this newborn. We don't think in that big picture scope, and that's why you need someone else come alongside to help you
Absolutely.
see. It's not just about this very single moment, because when I was trying to change, when I was a young mother, very many years ago, but it was about this moment. And most of us, like you said, we're so frustrated, we're so tired, we're just thinking, can I just get through the night?
Hmm.
But I admire what you have done, because you're trying to come along the parents, or you are coming alongside. I won't say try. I want to be very specific about language. That's something else that, as coaches, we learn to do. It's language is very important, but you're coming alongside parents and mothers and families and saying it's bigger than just this very moment. If you don't get a handle on it, it goes beyond the scope of what you're doing, and even the sleep patterns. And so you said something, you piggybacked off of what I said, that those 5 years, and I can use myself as example, those 5 years set a pattern, a sleep pattern, that was lost. So if we set these sleep patterns in the beginning, is there some data, something that says this works, this helps, this does something different, that when you come along
Oh,
and you do the sleep coaching?
oh yeah, absolutely. It's all over. Researchers and experts, pediatricians, the Centers for Disease Control. It says clearly like human beings benefit from sleep, right? And as a baby, babies need what, up to 16 hours of sleep, depending on their age, whether they're newborns or up to 12 months old. They need what, 14 to 16 hours of sleep a day. So if your baby is waking up 5 times at night, they're not getting enough naps in the day, they're not getting enough sleep. And babies need sleep to grow developmentally. They need it for brain functioning. They need it to be able to learn better. In the daytime, they need it to just grow. And so the science is out there. We all intuitively know that we need more sleep. Even adults, need more sleep. You might think you can function well on 4 to 6 hours every night, but what you're doing to your body, you have no idea until later in life when you're starting to get all these chronic illnesses. Sleep, the way you eat, how you exercise, everything is connected. Your baby is connected. Also, they're a person, they're a human being. So giving them the a good start is not just about buying like the best stroller or the best toys and the latest gadgets. It's also about that bond that you're building with your baby, that trust that they'll have knowing that my parent has my back. And it also establishes your leadership style, like deciding to
Oh,
teach your
absolutely.
baby how to sleep sets you up for success later when you're trying to teach them so many other things.
Oh my gosh, that's excellent. Um, Putting that leadership perspective in. So just give me an example of teaching the baby. What is of how do you shift from this baby's crying, this baby's in control, basically in the beginning, because they're up, they keep crying. Give me an example of how do you shift, and now I love that how you said that. It's you're taking back the leadership role as the parent when you're coaching and you're training your baby to sleep, because I don't think people really realize that this is possible. But do you know how many mothers? I believe that it will help mothers that are suffering postpartum, because now they don't have the frustration and depression and the angst that they feel because they don't have all this crying baby that they can't manage.
Absolutely. So you said something like the baby is in control when they're just born. It seems that way, but you are
Right,
always in control, right?
right.
As the parent. And you just have to, it's hard to think of that when you're just going through the motions and you're just like, I just need to make it through the next 4 hours, the next 12 hours, the next 24 hours, right? So if you can just remember somewhere in there that I am in control. Yes, I'm going through this phase right now where it's like an introduction. You're meeting this new person, this new baby, and you're trying to figure them out. They're trying to figure out life. They're just like, what is going on? I'm in this world. I need food. I need help. You change my diapers. So everybody's learning, but it doesn't mean that you are not in control as the parent. Um, you asked me something else. I can't remember what the second part was.
Well, it's just kind of like, how do you shift from the baby crying, the baby wanting to stay awake and like cry throughout the night, to now you're training them to sleep? I just want to see what are some of the methods that we you use to get a baby
Okay.
to sleep.
Okay, so there are several sleep training methods out there that a lot of moms now are researching. Um, there are moms on so many like social groups, social media groups, Instagram, Facebook, tens of thousands of moms, hundreds of thousands of moms are looking for answers using apps and you name it. So the methods are out there. People, you mentioned earlier, they'll cry it out, like let your baby cry it out for hours. That's not cutting it a lot right now with a lot of new moms and younger moms. Moms want no cry methods. And I also teach that when I coach my clients, right? The no cry methods. You just have to know and be confident that you have the ability inside of you to bond with your baby. That's one of it too. Like you just have to put away all the overwhelm from looking online for all these answers, and everyone has a different solution and this their technique works. I tell my clients that I have a more holistic approach, and I really do. I learned a lot of this, the majority of this, from going through the trenches, asking experts, asking my children's pediatrician like how to do certain things, just trial and error. I've been doing this for 8 years now. So it's just, you just have to know that you can do this. And if you don't know, you hire someone like me to walk you
Mhm.
through the steps of being a new mom, whether you have 5 children already, you never know what your new baby will do
Mhm.
when it comes to sleep. And so I'm here to walk alongside people and be their guide and show them the potholes so they can like skip it and
Mhm.
feel more empowered.
Right. And so it sounds like I hear you saying that with each birth and with each child, each mom, each birth, it's more, it's not just one method that's a cookie cutter.
No,
Each method, each time you walk with them and coach them, it's teaching them to bond with that particular child and that. So when they're using, when the sleep method or the sleep training is for that mom and that child as they bond together, and that mom and that child, you're teaching them the method that works with that child.
absolutely. And so I teach parents, I coach them how to create their own sleep method in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's very customized. So I don't
Okay.
believe like you have to do one method, right?
Okay.
So that's I did not use one method. I think I've used all the methods you could think of out there, and I created my own. So and me and my husband, he's a wonderful sleep coach for our children. He adds a lot of fun to it, and so I've also learned a lot from him too, just observing and things like that. Yeah.
That's awesome, because I think when sometimes we people have failed when they've just said this has to work, and when it doesn't, that's when they become discouraged. That's when they become, sad, and then they think and they give up. And then here we are, we give up and we just let the kids do whatever, and we don't continue trying to train our kids to have good rest, get good sleep habits, because we just take one cookie cutter method and we don't try other methods. As you say, you went back to the drawing table. Let me try this method. Let me try, and have someone, to have a coach like yourself say, look, let me walk alongside you and let me help you. And I just think that we're in a time and age where sometimes we've been so isolated, Nesta, that we think we don't need people to help us in different scenarios, that we can do everything by ourselves. But to have yourself who's tried, gone through the method, and you've worked with other clients have seen, "Hey, your children are doing this. Wow, this is awesome." And to have yourself come alongside. Um, and I was asking you earlier, what is something that you said, and you gave me this word. So I'm going to pop it up there. And if you would just talk about this for just a little bit. You said consistency is key. Why would that be so important with moms and dads?
Oh, absolutely. Besides having a vision for where you want your family to be and what you want them to look like, consistency is the next big one, big factor in how successful you will be, while teaching your baby how to sleep through the night. So, sometimes you just said it earlier. I feel it too. Sometimes I just want to let the kids just run around and do whatever they feel like. Okay, go watch TV and stay up till 10. And then it clicks like in my mind, like after all these years of hard work that I put in and the dedication and determination that me and my husband put in to making sure that you guys go to bed at 8 at night, I cannot let that go. So no, I'm gonna be consistent. And if I fall off and like skip a day or two, yes, I'm going back on the horse and we're gonna keep going because the benefits are amazing when your
Mhm.
children can sleep through the night. And I will not give that up no matter what. And I compare it to like going to the gym. Not everybody goes to the gym, so I get it. Not every parent will want to do this. It's tough, right? You have to do the work, but when you go to the gym, you feel better, you look better, you are just healthier, you're in a better space. And then you add like eating healthier and sleeping to that, you're just setting up yourself for success. So I think parents just need to realize that yes, you're gonna have to put in the work. And it's the same thing with being a parent, your journey in parenthood, you will have to put in the work to see the results that you would like. So,
And that's so good because sometimes we think, let me just do this, it's going to happen overnight. But I love that you said putting in the work. But of course, when you said at the end, the results, what do we get out of it is the benefit. It's not just putting in work, but the end result is you have a healthier child, you have a healthier lifestyle, all the family overall is healthier because we've put in the work. So throwing it away, throwing in the towel is not an option, because
um,
if I throw in a towel, everything goes, for lack of better terms, hell in a handbasket. Because here we have, no, we're not rested. I know if I don't get a certain amount of rest, and I often tell people, I can tell after a long period of time. You were saying how we think we can, even as adults, that we can go there 4, 6, so many hours, 5, 6 hours a night. After a period of time of doing that, my body shuts down because my body has said, you have deprived me enough, and I can't even think straight. I can sit and I can't even like think well. I can't, I'm sitting here trying to figure out, I'm trying to do business. I can't even think. And I'm a person that I think really quick on my feet, whatever, but things
mhm,
don't
mhm.
come well. And or physically, as you said, physically, your physical body suffers. And then you start wondering why you got these ailments. You could be a person that you don't catch cold, and all of a sudden your whole body shuts down. And I believe it's because we, as you said, we don't rest. People who are trying to lose weight, if you don't get proper sleep, you can't lose weight.
You lose
And it
weight in your
all,
sleep if you sleep well.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I didn't know that for a lot of years until probably the last 4 or 5 years. I learned that. And
Mhm.
so I love what you're talking about. For those who are just joining us, I'm talking with my friend Nesta Lumpkin, and we're talking about baby sleep coaching. She's the lead coach of Baby Sleep Accelerator, best-selling author of Not Your Average Baby Sleep book. And she's here to tell us, and I'm going to pop on the screen, Nesta, how they can get your book. And you can go to, oh my gosh, let me fix that. Um, I just realized I got an extra letter in there. There we go. There we go. Babysleepaccelerator.com. That's where you can get her book. And she's a best selling author. But this is so important because there's so many people going through life alone, going through struggling, mothers just trying to figure out. And we have seen the frustrated, the angry, the mother who's like, look like she's on her very last leg. She, not just with one. And this method is not just for the mother who who just had a baby and haven't doesn't have any children, but it's for the mother who has multiple but need to learn how to get those children, not just that one, but maybe even train. And I love how you just said that it's consistency. I've seen it in my own family where school's out. Now you let the kids stay up to 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock, and but then they have to go back to school in 2 weeks. Why aren't we staying consistent with that behavior? So I love that, even what you're talking about, because parents are like this and then they wonder why the children are like that. And
Yeah,
so,
so for me, like nighttime is party time and playtime for me and my husband. So we don't mess with that, right? That's when I get
oh,
to
that's
do a lot of
good.
work. That's when I get to do a lot of work on projects. Oh, I just lost an earpiece. Work on projects, and me and my husband get to have our quiet time together. We are more intimate together. So when I look at the benefits of what that 2 hour window that I get, me and my husband, you're not messing with that. Not letting an 8 year old, 5 year old, or a 3 year old get in the way of maybe the one big chunk of time that you may have as a parent to yourself, especially like if you have like several, more than one child. It's just you need a break, and you can get it. You can build that break into your schedule if you are proactive, and if you need help, like I said, you can hire a coach.
So I like the way you said that, because some people say, well, I don't have time to figure all this out. I don't have time to figure out how to train my child to sleep. I don't have time to figure out how. And so therein lies what you just said. You make time, you build it in. So many times we feel like our day is packed with everything. And what you're telling us is you build it in, you build this in as part of the rest of your schedule that you build in so that you make time for yourself.
Absolutely. You
So
need
you and
that
your
time.
husband you have made this as a routine. Do your kids understand that this is part of life? Like this is their routine as well? Is it kind of known in the family?
What that their routine is to go to bed early. They
Well,
know
this
it.
is their time, yeah.
They know it, and they love bedtime because that's their time to play with mom and dad. We read to them, we make up stories, we do devotionals sometimes, where we teach them Bible verses. This is our moment to address the issues of the day. We have our sessions where we apologize to each other. Like,
Mhm.
okay, mommy was a little frustrated earlier. I apologize for mommy could have been kinder to you. And the my daughters will apologize to each other. We give hugs. This is just our time when we're doing their bedtime routine to like unwind, reset, have a little fun. It's just us and them, or me and them, or my husband and them. And it's a great routine. It's a great rhythm for our family. And it would be a great rhythm for anybody's family, just to have that intentional time to connect, and to teach them discipline and
Mhm.
routine and the rhythms of life. And for them to know, like, everything cannot be about you. The whole day cannot be about you. It's time to go to sleep.
Nesta, I applaud you because some of the things you just said here is what, if we don't learn disciplines and routines even as a young age, and I think you alluded to it at the beginning of our conversation, it carries on throughout life. So if we don't teach some of these disciplines, these routines, these behaviors, you're actually training. What you're teaching parents to do is not just for their children at your babies at 8, 5, and 3. If you're not just teaching them that for an 8-year old, a 3-year old, a 5-year old, what you're teaching them is that when I become an adult, I need to learn that everything's not about me, that there are routines in life, that I have to be disciplined, that character counts, because you just said something about apologizing, about taking inventory of what I've done throughout the day, taking inventory of how I've communicated with someone, how I treated. It's so much. So this training, this method, this coaching that parents will learn from you is so much bigger, as you said in the beginning, it's so much bigger than just the sleep routine. It's about life. you're coaching families how to train their kids something now that will last with them for a lifetime. And
Absolutely.
so I applaud you on what you're doing.
Well, thank you. I really have thought long about this. It's something that has affected me, and it's been so great for my family. And I see moms out there who kind of brush it off in the beginning because they don't fully understand what baby is, or they don't know yet how to invest in themselves or
Mhm,
how to speak up for what they want. And so they don't fully see the value of what it is. And yeah, so that's why I write about it. I wrote a book about it. I speak about it. I'm here coaching about it to help families because I've seen families who didn't really understand what baby sleep coaching can do for them. And it's years later, and they're having issues,
mhm,
um, with their children sleeping at night, or, a mom somewhere is just still constantly exhausted after 4 or 5 years, and they're just at their wits' end. And it could be better, and it can be better. It's never too late to start, right? So, yeah, you can check out my services at babysleepaccelerator.com, or you can go get the book and hire me if you'd like to.
yes. So listen, guys, we're talking to Nessa Lumpkin, the lead coach at Baby Sleep Accelerator, and she's the best-selling author of Not Your Average Baby Sleep book. Um, and it's 23, tell you, 23 tips. Say the rest of the title of the book, Nesta, for me.
23 tips to get your baby to sleep through the night and your exhaustion and live a more balanced life.
Yes. And so, guys, please check out her book, check out her website. Go to her on Facebook. You can reach her on Facebook, inbox her, but go to her website, check her out, because I know that I'm not the only one that wish Nesta was around coaching and talking when my babies were growing up. I wish she was there. I wish she was there coaching me, saying, look, this is what you can do. Go come alongside. I mean, I understand the whole concept of devotion. I see things like even with my grandchildren, my granddaughter, you take the remote from her. She will one night she was in the house and she waited until all of us were asleep. I was watching her. She spent the night with me. She waited and she came back into the living room, grabbed the remote, and she was up till like 3 o'clock in the morning. That should not be happening. And then she didn't want to get up the next day. But if when in weeknights you go to bed at 8:30, why would you want to stay up on a Friday night till 3 o'clock in the morning? But these type of things are what you're doing is so powerful because it's instilling so much in the lives of people. Guys, I hope that you will reach out to Miss Nesta Lumpkin, lead coach at Baby Sleep Accelerator, because so many people need your services. Because I think it's not just about the sleep, but it's about a whole way of life that will benefit them, that will cause people's lives to be changed for the better. I appreciate you for coming on to Tuesday Talk Live. And before we close this session, is there anything left, not left, or last that you would like to say to our guests? Last words, last thoughts, or anything you would like to say to our guests before we close out?
Yes, just know that you have the power inside of you. You are a leader. You are still in control despite everything around you looking like chaos, or if you're frustrated and exhausted. There's a better way of doing things. There's a better way to help your baby sleep through the night, and you have the power to do it. You just have to get help if you need it, or just stay consistent with like a plan that you've already created and just keep going. If a plan that you have is working, don't stop, keep going.
Well, thank you. Well, I appreciate you. Again, this is Vera Sadler with VLS Coaching with Nesta Lumpkin, and I hope to see you again on Tuesday Talk